Okay, chapter 14 is called The Smashings. If he lived to be 100 and became a master puppeteer with a theater of his own, he would never again rival the performance he gave that day. Had his concentration wavered for one instant from the performance, he would have gone to pieces, so he drove himself into the depths of it. He was like a pearl diver, leaving the world of light and air far behind, plunging toward the treasure at the bottom of the sea. When the scene was over at last, he snatched off his hood and kimono and dropped them to the backstage floor, then raced toward the alley door. He could hear someone calling his name as he lifted the bolt, but he pretended not to hear. Outside it was already dusk, but still the summer heat clung in the air. Jiro! Tozo had caught the back of his tunic and was holding on. Where are you going? Let go, I have to go. But the slender youth was stronger than he appeared. Where's my master? Tozo demanded. His expression had shed any hint of feminine softness. You saw him last, didn't you? Merciful God, Jiro murmured. The old man might be dead in that airless place. Let me go and I'll tell you. Tozo loosened his grasp. He's locked in the storehouse. What do you mean? Tozo asked. But Jiro left him to puzzle it out alone. His responsibility was to find Kinji, and he had to do so before Okada had a chance to send someone out looking for Jiro himself. As soon as he was out of sight of the Hanaza, he slowed his pace. Where was Kinji? With the night rovers, he guessed, and the night rovers would go where they thought they could get food. The only area of the city with plenty of food was the merchant district. He could think of no better plan than to head that way, keeping his eyes and ears open for signs of his friend. Suddenly he heard the clanging of the fire gong. Trouble had not even waited for darkness. Up ahead in the next block he could see the members of the neighborhood fire brigade pouring into the street. He ran to catch up with them, and as he did so he could hear the gongs sounding from the rooftops of every fire brigade in the district. The air was soon full of smoke, and up ahead fingers of fire pierced the evening sky. Above the shouts of the firemen and even above the clamor of the gongs, there was a cacophony of banging and crashing and strange, unearthly cries, as though hell had unleashed all of its goblins. When he turned the next corner, he saw them. The night rovers were armed with sticks or clubs, some with bamboo clothes poles, others with brooms. Some carried lamps, others torches. Like a pack of rabid animals, they raced about, smashing everything before them. And if any merchant or fireman dared oppose one of them, 3 or 4 of the pack would turn snarling upon the enemy until they had beaten him senseless to the ground. He watched as a group chopped through wooden night shutters with axes and meat cleavers, and then an old woman flung an oil lamp through the opening. Screams came from within as the fire caught the paper doors, and within a few seconds, flames were leaping up from the roof. The night rovers roared with laughter and battered down what remained of the shutters. They ran into the flames and came running out again, laden down, still laughing and shouting to one another, showing off their loot for a moment. Then they dropped it into the street to smash and burn again. Jiro stood in the street and yelled as loud as he could, Kinji! Kinji! He might as well screamed at a typhoon. Typhoon's like a hurricane out in the Pacific. A fireman bumped his arm and told him angrily to get off the street, but he stayed, and when the rioters moved on, he followed them, trying to jostle his way in close enough, past firemen and dazed onlookers, to see the faces of the mad men and women. Gradually it dawned on him that it was not only this street or this band of night rovers. The whole city was blazing. Osaka had been a city straddling a volcano for too many years. Now at last the oppressed had erupted and were determined to destroy the city that had tyrannized them. Jiro left and walked to the next street, where the scene of violence and mindless destruction was being repeated. All night he went from street to street, calling Kinji's name and trying to catch a glimpse of his face in the light of the fires that seemed to be sweeping the city. When he saw someone lying in the dark shadows of the street, he knelt down to examine the face, or if they lay, as they often did, face down, with a bloody wound matting the hair, he would call the name gently, if the person appeared to be breathing, and turn the body over if it were lifeless. By morning, the smell of singed flesh was everywhere. He was stumbling with exhaustion and discouragement, but he was aware that the noises of the night were dying down. For the moment, the fire brigades were evident in force and seemed to be fighting the fires unhindered. The police were moving in as well, capturing those night rovers who had been injured or were too old or too young or too fatigued to outrun them. A man in a fireman's coat with a fireman's straw hat covering his features tilted his head questioningly toward Jiro, and with a start, Jiro realized that the man might be meaning to question him. When the fireman started to cross the street to him, Jiro turned and ran. Despite his earlier exhaustion, he was flooded with new strength and able quickly to outdistance the older man now running in pursuit. Jiro soon left the flaming business district behind him. Instinct took him to the narrow streets of the artisans and brought him, his eyes blurred, his chest bursting with pain, to his father's shop. He leaned heavily against the door without a voice to call out. Suddenly Jiro looked up to see that the fireman had followed him, but the boy was too tired to move. He slid to the cobblestones and sat there waiting for the man to arrest him. The man came and leaned over him. I'd hoped I'd find you here, he said. Jiro looked up into his father's face. It was too much. The boy put his head down on his drawn-up knees and began to cry like a baby. Hanji shoved the unlocked door open and helped Jiro to his feet. You were out looking for your mother, weren't you? Though it was not really true, Jiro was too spent to explain. He nodded and stumbled into the house after his father. The older man took a vial from his tunic and poured both of them out into a little cup of rice wine. When the clear liquor had burned his throat, Jiro found his voice. I was looking not only for Mother, but for Yoshida Kinji. Did you see him? Hanji shook his head negatively. Okada said nothing about him, only you. Okada? Yes, he sent word that you were out and that I should find you. Hanji drank down the last of his wine. We were both worried, of course, that you should be in the streets like that. I didn't know until I stopped by here that your mother was out as well. Do you know why Okada is worried about me? He is a kind man, Hanji said without looking Jiro in the face. His father was one of Saburo's band. Suddenly, Jiro was sure of it. You haven't been sick, have you? Hanji didn't answer immediately. He got up and washed out the wine cups. I am sorry, he said, his words careful and deliberate, for the pain I have caused you and your mother. With his long artist's fingers, he pulled a cloth from a peg and wiped the cups. You've been working for him all this time? Hanji did not look up. There are many of us. What did he... Jiro's voice cracked in mid-sentence. Did he tell you about me? He told me that you were a brave and spirited boy, that I should be proud of you. I believed him, his father added quietly. It was not an answer that Jiro could puzzle out. It might mean that Okada had not told his father about the storehouse, or it might mean that his father knew but was not telling him. If Hanji had sworn allegiance to Saburo, it was like the thief of the Tokaido, was it not? Jomen's son is cheered because he dies for his father. Hanji would be cheered for sacrificing his son for his master's sake. So Hanji is following Okada, but we are not sure if Okada is bad or good, so we're trying to figure that out. Jiro got up. I have to go, he said. I still have to find Kinji and Mother. I'll go with you. No, Jiro said quickly. Please, no. Tell Okada that I will come back to the theater as soon as I have found them. I promise. I swear I will come back. And whatever Okada wishes, I will submit to it. Just let me find them first. His father seemed to hesitate. Then he took off the fireman's coat he was wearing. Here, take this and the hat, he said. They'll give you some measure of protection against the authorities. Jiro put them on obediently, then bowed a little stiffly to his father. Bear yourself carefully, his father said at the front entrance. And you, Jiro nearly choked on the reply. Hanji watched his son disappear around the corner before, with practiced stealth, he left the house. And that's the end of chapter 14.